Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am scrap lifting Cassie over at Paper Issues. She's got this beautiful photo, banners, and some trees. My photos are not as beautiful. I'm documenting when I got sick over this past winter. Was not COVID, just was sick. So let's see what I can do. Alright guys, so I'm starting out with the Hive Stencil, and I'm just using my blending brush and some ink to put some ink on either side of the layout. So where in my inspiration layout it has Christmas trees on the side or pine trees, I am going to do a little bit of stenciling. So when I told my husband that I had to go in the room and finish up a video, he asked me what I was videoing, and I told him I had to scrap lift someone for the May I Scraplift You series. And he's like, oh, Crystal. I'm like, yes, with Crystal. So he's met Crystal before, so he feels like he's like in the know with the scrappy ladies. He has not met Moira, but you know, he just feels like he's in the know. So I came out to rinse off the stencil after I finished inking and glitter glazing with it. So spoiler alert, there's some glitter glaze coming. And he has asked if I finished scrapjacking. I was like, oh my word, I love that. So guys, for me, it is no longer scrap lifting. I am totally scrapjacking, you guys. Like, that's just the way it's going to be. So this is how things happen in our family. We start talking about things, somebody calls something a little funky, and we end up going with it. So this is now, may I scrapjack you? So there it is, scrapjacking. Now I am taking my palette knife. This is a palette knife that is only used for glitter glaze. And I'm just doing some light glittering over top of these hexagons here. Now this is one, I would say this is one of my favorite things to do, especially with the polka dot stencil, because the circles are a little bit smaller and you have a little bit better control. You can get your stenciled area with your ink, and then you can just have glitter glaze going on the edges of the circles. I love that look. So I did it with the hexagons. Like I said, not as clean as I've done it before with my polka dot stencil, but I do like the effect of it. So I went through my 6x6 papers, and I just went and chose some papers that I thought would look good together. And they do have pops of navy blue on them. I'm going to place my photos over top of each other. And, you know, these photos are a little pathetic. I was, you know, curled up in bed. These are 2 separate days, and these are the selfies I sent to my husband. Because, you know, I just felt like crap. Like absolute crap. So they're pathetic photos, but you know what? They're part of my story, and they're part of my story for a couple reasons. You know, we get sick. We get, you know, things happen in our lives that aren't beautiful. And sometimes we do that to ourselves. So I basically ran myself into the ground. You know, I wasn't taking care of myself, and I got sick. And, you know, sometimes that happens. And then we just need a you know, a quick kick in the pants and we get better. So there was literally, I think 3 or 4 days when I got sick over this period of time where I was sleeping 18 hours a day. My body just needed to recover. And, you know, it's part of my story. It's part of my life. It's part of what's going on, you know, in my world, in my bubble. So I am going to scrapbook that. Now, since I am using these 6x6 squares, now I thought I was just going to use the 6 inches because I did trim my photos down to 4x4, but I decided I needed them to be a little bit longer. I wanted them to go the length of what I had going on with the stenciling here. So I'm just going to match up the strips so that you don't really see the join, and any time where you're going to be able to see the join and tell that it is 2 strips of paper together, I'm going to make sure that my photos are going to cover that up so you don't have to worry about it. So I have a variety of different papers here, guys. There's some Simple Stories, there's some Heidi Swap, there's some Echo Park, I think, My Mind's Eye, all kinds of papers. And I'm using a lot, so that feels good, right? Like when you get to use up a good amount of supplies, like that excites me. Using my supplies excites me. I have adopted the philosophy of it is better for me to use my supplies so I can keep buying them. When I started scrapbooking, I scrapbooked out of a little tote. Like I had a tote, and now I have a room. And there's a lot of stuff I haven't touched in months. Sizzlets for Sizzix alphabets, haven't touched them in months, right? Like there's stuff I have not touched in months. But they're there. And they're going to live in there, and they're going to use that space, and they will always be in that space. However, I have things like paper, stickers, thickers, brads, glitter, flowers, all those kind of things that I can use up, get it out of here, and bring in more. And that is exciting to me. Super, super exciting to me. I actually used all my 12 by 12 paper, not including 12 by 12 cardstock, used to fit in 8 squares of a calyx, guys. 8 squares of a calyx. That is insane how much pattern paper I used to have. But I do not have that much pattern paper anymore. It just fits in 3.5 right now, and the half is because of it's all paper house paper. So got off on a big old tangent right there. So I do add a little doily up at the top just because I feel like it adds a little bit, and it kind of spans the gap because those papers right there at the top look a little awkward. They aren't really like overlapping on each other in a pleasing way to my eye. It just feels weird. So putting that doily over there is going to cover that up, get rid of that weird feeling. Anytime you have a gap on your papers, or your papers just feel weird, cover it up. Like use a sticker, use a brad, use washi tape. You can't use a doily like I just did. You can cover that mess up. So I decided to bring in this chipboard that says adorable, kind of tongue-in-cheek because I'm not really feeling adorable in these photos. And then I go to my stash and I have these Chamel thickers, and the blue is a good match, so I decided to change where my title is from the layout that I'm scrapjacking, and it's going to go down here at the bottom. So the title is now Adorable You. And even though this is a layout about me, I don't mind the fact that I'm saying you in the layout. So I wasn't really sure what I was going to use to like embellish this layout, kind of add just that little extra touch. Because there's a lot going on in this layout. I've got ink, I've got glitter, I've got tons of different pattern papers, and that gives me all kinds of different like texture feelings on the paper. So I decided that I was going to use these little thicker stickers and just create little clusters of 3. Now these are little triangles, and you know, a triangle is definitely a design rule to follow. And I am doing varying shapes, not shapes, they're all circles, Sandy, I mean, come on, varying sizes and colors in my dots right here. And I feel like that kind of spans all the way across the page and kind of like this diagonal. And that way the colors are kind of being introduced all the way across the page, and they aren't just so stripy. Even though I have the stripes of color across the page, this kind of spans it and makes it a little bit more cohesive. And if you could see me doing the video right now, I'm actually doing all the hand motions. So sorry you're missing out on that. I decided to go ahead and add this little cork sticker that says strike a pose. And then of course I'm going to add my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive so that my stickers actually stick to the page and they don't fall off because stickers. Now I do decide to bring on a couple more little cork pieces. I figured since I introduced cork in one place, I might as well introduce it in a couple other places. I thought about bringing in that smile, but even though I've got Adorable You as kind of like tongue-in-cheek, I thought putting smile on this page was a little bit over the top, just a little bit more ridiculous than I actually want it to be. I decided to go ahead and journal here on this yellow strip, and I'm just telling you what, I'm just journaling about what I told you guys earlier. I ran myself into the ground, didn't take care of myself, got sick, and then, you know, it's always fun to be sick during COVID when you don't have COVID, because then, you know, you get the stink eye when you come back to work, like, did you get tested? Did you get, like, do you have COVID? Should you be at work? Should you be doing this? Are you safe? And it's like, people, I'm exhausted. I ran myself into the ground and I slept for 100 hours and I feel better now. So there it is, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you check out Crystal and Moira's layouts. I will have links to their channels down below, and you will be able to see who they are scrapjacking this week. Well, maybe they scraplift. I might be the only one that's scrapjacking. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys again real soon for another video.